What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to Park to Prem, here with Tow Law Town. Yes, it's Tow Law, not Tow Law, because the English language doesn't have any grammatical rules to stick to. It does what it wants. So yes, we're here with the lawyers. Of course, if you missed episode 1 of this series, we had a big job hunt. We've landed ourselves here in the middle of Durham. A team who, actually, having done a bit of research, have been to Wembley not that long ago. This is going to be fun. We'll talk more about that in just a second, but you can see here the Ironworks Road is our stadium, built, well, 120 years ago now. That feels weird to say, doesn't it? Happy New Year, everyone. We have no director of football. We do have an assistant manager. That concerns me. Our best team here is apparently this. Now, I know that we don't have a striker in our kind of first team, so who is the striker it's giving us? Vladimir Belyi, a Belarusian new gen who... I want to say he looks so. He's got potential. I'm not going to go as far as to say he looks okay because he's got free passing and free technique and 4 first touch. But if we absolutely have to rely on him, he might be okay. If it comes to that, something's gone wrong in pre-season, to be clear. Anyway, you can see the expectations here, much like we saw last episode. Top 5 finish, what we promised the board. We'll challenge and do all the inductions later. And well, today, we're going to get our feet under the table. We're going to get comfortable. And we are also going to do the first game of the season, which, well, if we just look at things here, is going to be against Newcastle University. We're so far down the pyramid, we just take on school kids. A bunch of lawyers taking on school kids. So... yeah, we are called the Lawyers. That is our nickname here at Tow Law. Already the budgets are showing as being in the red. That's concerning. We identified, you might remember last episode, about the fact we have some players on quite large chunks of money. That is not good. I'm probably going to have to sell these guys. So looking at Daniel Harvey here, he's not a bad little player. And Robbie Iverson as well. He's a pretty good winger for this level. You can see I've changed the attribute colour thresholds just so... I mean, if it was still at 15, there would be pretty much no attributes yellow. But 13 is the benchmark for greatness. Or actually, no, 12 is the benchmark for greatness that I've decided upon here. But yeah, the team's rather depleted. We've got some money to spend, though. We have no recruitment team. Do we have anything? We have nothing. Do we have any staff? This could be a very long pre-season. I feel like we're going to be busy. The good news is it's early June because of the start date we chose. We've got lots of free job roles that are going to have to be filled. We've got an assistant and that's pretty much it. I was going to look at players that we could sign, but I realise I've got a tribute masking on, so I have no idea how good any of these players are. And also, we probably can't buy anyone who's on a wage, if I had to assume, especially with our current finances. I mean, the first port of call is going to be sorting out the money situation here. I'm probably going to have to do some pre-season tournaments, see if there's any big teams who will do friendlies against us, because that would be a reasonable way to make some money. I mean, we can play Bolton or Ipswich. So that might make us a little bit of money. Maybe we can do a tournament or something to get a few more big teams here. That's that's more concerning than I want to admit. I mentioned about Tow Law Town's history. Just to quickly touch upon it, because it is kind of cool. You can see in the FA Vase in 1998, they went to Wembley. They did lose at Wembley. They finished runners-up. I hope we can take them beyond that. I also looked a little bit into the team. This club has been in the 9th or 10th tier, I believe, of English football for the last 90 years. I want to take them beyond that. That's the benchmark I'm laying down here and now. We're going to go beyond what this club has ever achieved before. Granted, the bar is slightly lower, but... man, it's going to be a very, very pre-season. I feel like I've got so much to get through. The best thing to do here is going to be to go to the first game of the season, talk about the transfers. I'm probably going to have to overhaul this squad quite a lot. Obviously, with the wage budget the board have given us, I was going to say, we've got loads of ability to do that. In truth, we actually really haven't, because I've got to get a load of staff members in who we are going to have to pay a living wage to, or a wage of sorts. They can do paper rounds on the side, it'll be fine. But yeah, Danny Harvey... You look like a great player. I have no doubt you're superb. I'm just going to have to get rid of you. It hurts because these two players here, Iverson and Harvey, way too good for this level. Way, way, way too good. I'm hoping we can get some money for them. But if I have to let them go for free, I may well have to. Does anyone want to buy them? Anyone? I want to see if anyone puts in any kind of bids. I need to do pre-season stuff as well, like setting up the friendlies. You know what? I'm panicking. I need to calm down. This is a very big project. No one said this is going to be easy. Hopefully, come the first game of the season, things are going to be under control. That is in exactly 2 months' time. I'm going to go away. I'm not going to panic. I'll be back. And hopefully everything is perfectly sorted and I'm just in a state of euphoria. So, yeah, good luck, Jack. And I'll see you in a second, folks. Let's see what I got up to. Okay, guys, so we are back. What a 2 months this has been. I feel like, you know the DIY shows on TV where someone comes in and like in 24 hours they renovate a house? I feel like in 2 months I've renovated a club here at Towlaw. Media prediction first. And we have lots of new faces. And when I say lots of new faces, I mean there's a hell of a lot of new faces and there's more deals being done. The good news is, I mean, debatably, we have managed to get rid of Harvey and also Robbie Iverson. So the 2 star players, we're not paying for their wages anymore, which is a little bit of a relief because that was a big problem on the finances. And well, speaking of the finances, look at this money. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to last. I've done some rough maths because what I've ended up having to do is I couldn't offer permanent contracts to players. Instead, I had to pay them appearance fees. Just the way the club's set up, we're that far down. Although we had some players on wages, most players who I've signed, I couldn't give wages to, so we're just giving appearance fees to players. I've calculated that we have to spend about £900 a game on our squad. So the money here should last a little while. You might be wondering, Jack, how did you get that money? Let me tell you. We've had a pre-season of getting spanked, basically. But we had 2 tournaments that we said. We had the Tau Tourney and the Law Cup. And in the Law Cup, I managed to get Ipswich, Barnsley and Bolton to come into our backyard. We lost every single game, but all the games got put on TV and we had really good attendances, and that combined with some other friendlies, again, against Barnsley and Bolton, who have really done us a favour. We're becoming best mates with Barnsley and Bolton, as you will see. We got really good attendances. We've had TV money as well, just from that pre-season tournament. That has really just given us a platform to build off. The fact that I came in and we were negative on the money was a massive, massive concern. You can see here, TV revenue, 50,000, gate receipts. We've made 400,000, although we had to pay some of that back to the teams who came to play in that little Law Cup that we had. But yes, we have some money at least now. I don't intend to use, leagues like this to generate ridiculous money, because that probably would be possible now that I've seen what it can do. But at the very least, it offers a degree of financial stability, which, when you're in the 10th tier of English football, is kind of necessary. Anyway, you can see our wage budget here. Our committed spending is £886 a week. Now, that doesn't include the appearance fees. Obviously, I've got rid of a lot of the players who were being paid wages. In fact, you can see here, if we just look at players on wages, we've got a load of young prospects who can be offered wages. Scott McArdle, who's on £100 a week, I am actually looking to sell. So, I'm sorry if you're a Towlaw Town fan watching this video, because I feel like I've got rid of a load of your players. But I kind of had to do it. My hands were tied. But all that money has basically gone into actually getting a backroom staff set up, and a really good backroom staff set up for this level. I'm still getting a new scout, a chief data analyst. If you were wondering, by the way, what does a scout look like at this tier? Here we have Kevin Slynn. He's got 7 judging player ability and 6 judging player potential and 2 adaptability. Now, the good news for him is he's probably not going to be going much further than England, so adaptability shouldn't be too important. But it's not the craziest of quality. And if we just look at our assistant manager, I got in, well, Ashley Burgess here. I kept him on. Most people here are on single-year contracts. They're all part-time. But, yeah, the good news is we've actually, got ahead of youth development now and stuff. Basically, we were given, obviously, £2,000 wage budget. I can't offer players an actual wage, but I can offer staff an actual wage. So what I ended up doing was investing a load into the infrastructure. So I feel like we're ready for long-term success now. But I've talked about all the stuff that's kind of been going on, I want to say off the pitch, but off the team sheet. Let's discuss the team, because there's been an overhaul. I'll be honest. You can see all the players that we've ended up signing for free. Yeah, we've not spent any money, so we're wheeling and dealing. But basically what ended up happening was I offered a load of trials to players. Now you might be wondering, Jack, how would you know who to offer trials to? Because as you saw, I have no idea who's good and who's bad. Our recruitment team has now started to recommend and, suggest players. But what I ended up doing with our kind of situation was I went to homegrown players and basically looked through all the players who had been released from clubs around us. So, for example, star player maybe, Forstin Michaela, 20 years old, former Manchester United youngster, homegrown at United. So I went to Manchester United, looked at their homegrown youngsters, offered them all trials. He was the only one who accepted the trial and replied. We've got Sonny Best here, who I would say is another one of our star players, 18 years old, former Sunderland man. Towlaw is not too far away from there. In many ways, it's like Hogwarts. Basically, all the players who have been released from Football League teams in and around us, we sent letters to saying, hey, do you still want to play football? Do you want to be paid £40 a week to play in Tier 10? Some of them said yes. So we have actually got a team. Now, obviously, it's a whole new squad. It's very difficult for me to go through it all in one kind of episode. But I feel like today we can look at our starting 11. Get to know some of the household names. So in goal, we've got Callum O'Neill, who he's already been progressing well in training, bless him. 20 years old. I'd say he looks quite good. In fact, I'd say that our team should be getting promoted this year. Former Oldham man, he's had a few years out of the game. He's back now for us. We've then got Matthew Marsh, one of a number of former Bolton Academy prospects. He is 20 years old and can play right back and centre mid. We've also got Donnelly Blackburn. You'll never guess what team he formerly played for. If you said Blackburn, you're correct. It's so good that he was named after the team that he played for. But he's going to play left back for us. We've got Greenwood at the back. I think former Everton. I've lied. Former Nottingham Forest. And what I ended up realising was we had quite a wide reach. We were going as far south as kind of Nottingham and Derby to pick up players. I'm hoping that Mbuti and Greenwood, they're going to be able to put past club allegiances behind them. Obviously, we've got Luke Ferguson, who is probably one of our star players. Now, the interesting thing here is, one of our star players has lots of yellow, does also have 4 composure and 4 concentration, which for, a centre mid is a tiny bit concerning. We've got another Bolton youngster here in Tyrell Palmer. The thing I love about these Bolton players is they're all wearing their shirts and you can kind of spot them all. So there's a few of them in the team. So yeah, if you see any players with a little red collar on the right, assume they're Bolton players. We've talked about Michaela and we've talked about Best. Kennedy, best player in the team, star player. The master of nines, I guess is what we could call him. You can see here, really well-rounded player. 14 natural fitness, and he just doesn't really have a weakness in his game. I'm looking to play him as an advanced playmaker. You can see here, as an advanced playmaker, yes, he lacks a little bit of flair. I mean, 6 flair at this level is still pretty good. But besides that, he just looks like a very, very solid player. I know some of you are looking at this, rubbing your eyes, going, is this what a solid player looks like at this level? It absolutely blooming is. And also, happy birthday for yesterday. In real life, that is. Anyway, last player, Ryan Ferguson, the only player without a face. I feel like if a player has a face, you know that they're a good player in Football Manager when you have a face pack. But yeah, Ryan Ferguson here. This guy, former Leeds United player, and he looks nuts. His physicals for this level in terms of just pace and stamina, crazy. He's going to run like a beaver for us. Like, he's got the stamina. Beavers, they're not known for their work rate. Neither are they known for their passing. 2 passing could be a concern. But he's a striker, and even with 5 off the balls, he's so quick, it's not going to be a problem, I'm sure. But yes, our team is looking really, really good. And in truth, by getting all these former academy prospects, I feel very good about our chances. You can see, if we just look at media prediction, we're predicted to now win the league. And season preview, most of the players here are our own. You can see Roberts actually plays for Billingham. And you've got players like James Earl here and also John Campbell, who they don't play for us. So there are still, players of our team's quality. But on the whole, this is now mostly our team, which is great, with one minor caveat. And if you've managed at this level, you'll know the caveat. None of these players are on actual contracts. They've got 0 expiry date. What does that mean? That means that they can be poached by any team at any time. Midway through the season, some of these players will, I have no doubt, get plucked away from us by bigger teams who go, hey, do you want £50 a week to play rather than being paid £20 a week to play for Towlaw? So I'm quite attached to my team at the moment, but I keep having to remind myself it's not going to last forever. I hope it does last forever, but the reality is it's not going to last forever. So enjoy these players whilst we can. Hopefully some of them turn into cult heroes. Hopefully some of them pledge their allegiances to us here at the Lawyers and we can lay down the law with them. But at the same time, I'm already bracing myself for loss. But yes, lots going on off the pitch. Basically a whole new team. I'm trying to think if there's been anyone who survived. I think Nathan Convery here is the only player who's at Towlaw in real life who we've kept. Although, did I sign him as well? There's been a lot of players come and go. Love Green, he's been asking about leaving. He was kind of a bit concerned, and I told him it'll be fine. He's not a bad little player. He actually starts the kind of save here at Towlaw. But if we just compare him to the players we brought in, like Mitchie Mbutty, I'm going to call it Mbutty, even though that's definitely not correct, because it sounds cooler. You can kind of see the quality difference. I'm here to get results. I'm not here for sentimental reasons. So I'm sorry, Matty. I hope you can forgive me. We're still looking to sign a few players, including a load of staff members. As I mentioned, I'm expecting to have players poached, and because we're only paying them per appearance, there's actually no harm in hoarding a rather large first team where we only use a small fraction of it, as long as the players don't get unhappy. And if they do get unhappy, we can just release them for nothing. I will say, someone's going to mention this, Romario Vieira, our former player from Larne last year, he's not been picked up by anyone. I know how good he is because of how good he was last year in Football Manager. I'm trying to get him on trial. You can see lots of teams around us. Newark Flower Serve and Stourbridge also want him. I'm hoping we can get him in. If you were wondering, this guy, he is a former Leeds United player, but he's also the relative of, is it Ronaldo Vieira? The Sampdoria centre mid, formerly of Leeds. You guys know the player I'm talking about. Basically, his brother's good, so he must be good as well, right? That's how it works. It's a bit like schoolyard football, isn't it, with that logic? But anyway, let's get into this. Speaking of schoolyard logic, we're taking on Newcastle University. You've seen the system we're going to play. We've got very, very good players in the final third and very quick players for this level. You know, between Michaela and Best, out in the wide areas, we have some of the fastest players in this league. And Ryan Ferguson up front is rapid. I do kind of want to make use of that. You can see in terms of how we're going to play, we're going to try and play some nice football and work the ball forward. But if it comes to it, we can just lump the ball forward, and I hope my players will just run onto it and score goals with ease. But I want to try and bring sexy football to Towlaw. That's the aim here. And, well, let's see how we get on, shall we? Loads of players are lacking match fitness. Some of them joined a little bit late. For the whole of pre-season, we've been getting spanked by teams in and around us. You know, some teams much higher than us, the likes of the Boltons and Barnthleys, a few teams in Scotland. I kind of wanted to try and get as much money from the friendlies as we could. Obviously, you've seen from the club finances, we're in a nice, stable position now, which is more than what could have been said 2 months ago. And I'm ready now for the season. So here we are, the moment of truth. I'm a little bit scared and nervous about this. You can see they've got 1 or 2 new players in their team. With this level of database, lots of new gens get added to teams, basically to fill out their rosters. There's an option you can tick to add players to playable teams. Obviously, we've done that. You can see here is the team at our disposal. Lots of debutants today, and we've given Ferguson the captain's armband. He's got 10 leadership, which in our team is very, very good, obviously. Such a young squad because of all the young prospects we've been picking up, or former prospects, some of them, I guess. He's the leader for us. We've got Luke Ferguson. We've also got Ryan Ferguson. I feel like one of them needs a nickname. So if you've got any suggestions whatsoever, please do send them my way. I need them because it's going to get confusing otherwise. We could just call one Big Ferguson and one Little Ferguson. I don't actually know how tall they are. I've not really checked their heights. I think they're both quite small. Anyway, let's get into this, shall we? First game of the series. We're laying down a benchmark here. Let's see how we get on. And, well, I don't really know what to expect here. We'll see how we get on. I'm a little bit nervous, in truth. And the fact that nothing's happened, there's been no shots after 25 minutes, is not boding well for us. You'll notice we're only allowed 5 subs at this level, which could definitely be a little bit of a challenge. And also, well, nothing's happened so far, although here we have it. The first highlight of the series. Is someone going to write themselves into folklore as the first goal scorer? And, well, there it is. It's Ryan Ferguson. Sonny Best with the assist as well. Not great goalkeeping, but expect to see plenty of that for the first few years of this series. But we're at a point in the world where if you have hands, you're qualified as a goalkeeper. That's how tier 10 goalkeepers are handled. Got an okay hand to it, parried it into the kind of inside of the netting, and well, we take the lead. We can just relax now. You can see fitness is a little bit of a concern, although it's going to be a concern for both sides. They've done nothing in the first half. We've controlled the game, but without really making it show in terms of chances. Do I want to be aggressive with the players off the bat? You know what? I do. I'm going to be the loving father type. Firm but fair, but also encouraging the youngsters. And well, it's worked for half the squad. I've got to remember as well, because of my manager attributes being so kind of meh, I can't get away with doing overly strict team talks because some players will just respond badly to it. Also, I've paused the game here. They've made a triple sub at half time. Is that the norm at this level? Just to make 3 subs? I mean, going harder with the tackling. Let's get a few of them injured, I guess. Who's performing well? Not our centre mids is the answer. Money lumps the ball forward here. Marsh wins it. Burns, he's through. What can you do, keeper? Oh my gosh, who put in that tackle? And Butty. Now it's with Palmer. We deal with it. No nonsense. We should make some subs. Let's introduce you to some more characters. Here we have Laikoi Alumba, the most well-rounded striker in the universe. I think I'm going to train him to play box-to-box midfielder. That makes the most sense to me. We've also got Jordan Jowers, who is a former Middlesbrough man. He's actually a very, very good playmaker. And you know what? Kelledy's not at the best of games, so we'll bring him in. And Ethan Kershaw, coming for Palmer. Palmer's on a 6.2 and a yellow card. That scares me. Of course, in bringing these players on, I now have to pay them an appearance fee. So if money got particularly tight, we would maybe get to a situation where I don't make subs just to save money. As Sonny Best goes through, unfortunately shoots wide of the mark. The keeper parried it. An hour gone, it's only 1-0, but you'd have to say we've been pretty blooming good so far. They've not had a shot, this university student group, which makes me feel good. I'm trying to really resist the urge to do some puns with Tau Law. There's lots that I can do. I'm trying to pull myself together. I even screwed up the pun. Ferguson, save me here from my puns. Can he finish it for his second of the season? Of course he can. Sonny Best with another. He's just done a front flip. He's done a front flip over Sonny Best. They've got such good chemistry right now. They're doing flips over one another. Best dinks it through. Ferguson, he's got that pace. He's off like a little rabbit, and he tucks it in. He almost breaks the net. Can we see the celebration again? Please don't end prematurely. Ugh, I mean, we'll never know. We'll never know what the celebration looked like. But the good news is, it's 2-0 here. Sonny Best to whip in another. He's looking for a hat-trick of assists on his debut, the right midfielder. Greenwood now with it. What can you do, Greenwood? Back to Donnelly Blackburn, the ginger ninja himself at left-back. Michaela, now with Jowers. What can you do? Back with Michaela, the former Manchester United player. I hate to label him with that, but I feel like if you've played for Manchester United, like that is a label that is going to stick with you, and I'm just going to call you the former Manchester United player at all times because it makes me feel like we're a way bigger team than we are. Great block there, by the way, by the right back. I think that was Marsh to stop that effort. They've had a few clear-cut chances, which is a tiny bit scary, but some heroic defending has helped us. And well, Ferguson, he could be through. I thought he might be offside, but there's no VAR to verify that. And well, he's hit the woodwork there. But not too bad. I mean, if we could finish this 3-0, that would be good. Wellington, they're winning 5-1. They're setting the bar high in this division as we give away the ball here. Greenwood, what are you doing? It's a 3-on-1. Can we get back? Whitmore, straight into O'Neill's hands. That is the first save he has had to make all game. I mean, I guess he's got 100% save percentage. So he can, I don't know, put that on a certificate and label himself with it. But what a performance that is. Ferguson, player of the match. Very pleased, boys. A win. That was the most important thing, to get a W in the win column. You get 3 points in the win column, not a W. This is not American sports. But we're up in 5th. We're loving it. Obviously, a long way of this season to go. It is a 20-team league, so we play each team twice. There's 38 games in a season. Ferguson makes an immediate impact. I mean, let's ignore the fact that every single player was kind of making a debut. You can see here, Trevor Kane signed a contract at the club. I saw this guy lurking in our under-16s or our under-18s, and I thought I'd just give him a contract. Maybe I shouldn't have, now I've seen his potential ability, but, I mean, Trevor Kane, traditional Greek name if you didn't know, and he looks pretty well-rounded. I feel like if we can train his play centre-mid, he might actually be of use to us down the line. We have got some I don't want to say usable players, because I feel like that's almost playing down how good they are, but players like this guy, who are just, the grey virtual players here, who you can just offer contracts to. There's a few good little players here, like Malcolm Maine. Look at him. Right back, right winger. Never learnt to play right wing back, but he's working on it. And, well, you can see here in the under-21s, I'm looking at a few other players that you might want to bring in. Obviously, we've got quite a big squad here, but all these players, with the exception, I guess, of McArdle, are on pay-as-you-go contracts. If you're wondering about Belye, the Belarusian protege, we'll go with protege, it sounds good. I don't know if he's ever going to play for us, but here he is. He's fast, and if we have an injury crisis at striker, he might be able to do a job for us. He looks very happy. He doesn't look happy. I'm lying. Anyway, things have gone quite well there. When will we be back? That's what you're wondering. You can see here the games we've got coming up. We've got the Build Base FA Vars first qualifying round. I have no idea who the good and bad teams are here, so I'm just going to play it by ear. Well, we may come back for that FA Vars game. We may come back soon, or we may come back a little bit later. I feel like we've got to get our feet under the table, but shout out to the 95 fans who came for our first ever game. In 20 years' time, when we're lifting the Premier League title, you will each get a commemorative plaque that lets everyone know that you were here. But, well, Ryan Ferguson, you might not have a face, but you do have my faith. 2 goals on his debut. Who needs passing? Good little hero for us, I think, in the making. Anyway, guys, I've rambled on for long enough today. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Always enjoy getting into, a new save, finding a new team, finding our place, wheeling and dealing. The pre-season was really, really fun just because of how much had to be done. I feel like we're in a really, really good position here to challenge for the title and get promoted year 1. Hopefully I see you guys next time. And yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, as always, do drop a like on it. That's all from me today. I'll talk to you guys next time. It's me, Jack, and I'm out.